For those with good taste.
All right, Lenny, at this point, it's only fair that we...
Fitting.
Sure, it's only fitting. What? Stop doing that. It's only fitting and it's only fair that we give a little bit of time to a movie that you and I both had the opportunity to watch this week.
We had watched the trailer a few weeks back as well.
Yeah, if anybody pays attention to this show, we're kind of a fan of movie trailers. And this was one that we had a pretty hot take on. And for the fact that it was DJ Marky Mark, I think we were willing to put our eggs in this basket.
Quite the setup.
Would you agree?
Quite the setup. I don't have any eggs to put in baskets. But I was looking forward to it because I'm a Mark Wahlberg fan, right? I was looking forward to it even more. Can I ask you a question? Did we know that Dylan O'Brien was in this?
We didn't.
Okay.
And I'm so glad that you messed it up because I wanted to bring it up afterwards. We would have 100% watched this movie had we known that Dylan O'Brien was in it.
Dude, I was watching it and I was like, so I had seen a couple weeks ago a scene of him fighting with swords on a crane. Like I'd seen like a quick little clip of it.
And you didn't know that it had to do with that movie?
I thought it was from that other trailer that we had watched with him a few weeks back.
Oh, yes, okay.
Right? And I was just like, oh, it must be in that movie I watched a trailer for. And then when I'm watching this and I see him, I'm like, wait, because we just talk about this shit every week at this point. It blurs together at some point.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
are my trailers starting to blur?
Did we talk about Dylan O'Brien being in the Mark Wahlberg movie? Like, no.
No, we definitely did not.
So yeah, the very first thing I see isn't Mark Wahlberg. Like that was where it was even more. They like do this little like lead up, like talking.
Bro, it took everything out of me not to shoot you a text and be like, bro, Dylan O'Brien's in this fucking movie.
Yeah, like it's so weird, and it's not like, oh, okay. So
let's get into it.
We just hit like
3, 2, 1. I know, spoiler. I know. I went like
get
this.
My hand right, dude.
It didn't feel right, so I was like 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
I don't have a lot of dexterity. But yeah, spoilers. Like, sorry if that spoils it for anybody else to just start there. But yeah, so he's not in it like a ton.
It's the opening 5 minutes.
He's an important part of the movie, I suppose.
Did it register to you when he said look inside? Mm-hmm. Did it register to what we had seen in the trailer? Because I blanked on that immediately.
No, so I knew the look inside part, like because we had actually talked about that a little bit, right? The thing that should have been far more obvious than it was is when he seals up
the wound. Yeah. To me, I just thought he got stabbed, got in a knife fight.
Yeah, well, exactly. They do a good job.
I mean, when you're sitting there with what looks like $100,000 briefcase,
I just assume
that look inside means I'm about to drop this briefcase. You should probably take a look inside.
Yeah, like go check it out.
I had no idea that you were stuffing stuff in your body.
He's like a Mexican drug mule.
Well, that's exactly what it was. Like, I'm not trying to go through the x-ray because I got this stuff on me. Let me go to the bathroom so I can take a shit real quick.
So, did you understand the story?
It was tough to keep a grasp on, man. So, I've watched it 1.5 times. I feel like I do this all the time. What I will say is that the storyline felt like something that's done before.
I'll tell you what it is.
I'm sure you can.
It reminded me of Assassin's Creed.
Okay, yeah, exactly. We have to trigger your memory so that you can tell us where to find what we're looking for. Mm-hmm. There's 2 sides on this, and at the end of the day, you feel like you know whose side you want to be on, and it's almost blatantly obvious that we're eventually going to get to a point where we've seen the story before.
So I guess I understand, like, I do and I don't. So Mark Wahlberg's like team, right? Whatever side he's on.
The Believers.
They are the Infinites, right?
Yeah.
So they're protecting the egg because the egg can end the world. Mm-hmm. Do you want to stop for a second and talk about how I hate that an egg is what they're like?
I thought
that's silly.
I had to Google it and see if this was a Scientology movie.
Who worked out that part of the storyline?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's because an egg is really the only thing small enough to stick in that little wound that he had.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. That's dude. They had to sit there and be like, well, it's not believable if we haven't put a dagger like into the inside of his body. Because like, isn't it always like a staff or a dagger?
Well, dude, so I mean, he's carrying this sword around the entire time, and it almost feels
we're
like
getting to the sword.
He's got a I won't even. Sorry, I feel like I'm jumping all over the place.
Yeah, we'll get to the sword.
Okay, so the egg doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Right. It then makes sense at the very last minute, but you're like, oh, this didn't have to be an egg. This could have been a marble. This could have been an orb. It could have been anything.
Dude,
a gem.
An orb and a gem make way more sense.
Yeah. Remember in what is it? Exit wounds, where
Okay.
they have to have these black diamonds that they're basically turning into nuclear weapons. That would have made more sense.
Yep. Okay. I know.
I'm
I remember now.
reaching for straws here. I know.
It's just, yeah, that kind of, an egg is the least intimidating thing that you could tell me was going to end civilization.
Yeah, was this some weird way to just tell us that like men can carry eggs?
It's the worst thing since when Transformers had that little box,
Oh, yeah, I guess you could say that.
the All Sphere.
The All-Spark. Yeah, I guess
Sure.
you could say that. It's very similar in the sense, but what it really comes down to is the storyline, you know that it's been done before, but I almost feel like they do the job of trying to confuse you for almost no reason. Like, you have the ability to stop people from reincarnating if you shoot them with this gun that we've never seen anybody get shot with. Did you see anybody get shot with it? Knock, knock. Yeah, no, I get that. That's the only time in this entire 1 hour and 40 minutes that you actually see the gun used.
No. So when they're
It's-
driving through the streets, she's using it to blow up cars and shit.
Right.
That was pretty sick.
Okay, yes.
Because she does that one that bounces along the
Oh,
ground
yeah,
and
she
then
does that. Yeah,
magnetizes
okay.
underneath the
The-
car.
There's some cool visuals in the movie.
In that part at the beginning, you know the part I'm talking
Yeah,
about,
yeah,
right?
when she breaks him out.
So he's in this massive truck.
Yeah.
And the massive truck is driving through the inside of a building, has no problem. It's driving through all this traffic. That car
What were you
blows
gonna
up and it hits a normal sedan.
And it stops immediately.
It flips the whole truck upside down, man. It didn't just stop.
No, I
It,
know.
like,
That's what I'm saying. It stopped it in its track to the point where it had to flip. Like,
it's insane. Like, not a good truck.
you know what happened when I was watching this movie, Len, is, and this is something you always tell me, you're like, dude, how much are you going to grasp on reality? Like,
Yeah.
you can't be stuck in the fact that this isn't real.
Mhm.
Like, it's a movie. At the end of the day, if The Rock is holding together ATVs and helicopters by a chain, Mark Wahlberg should be able to ride a motorcycle onto the
Yeah,
wing of an airplane.
Let's get something very clear here. Is I have a lot to shit on about this movie, but I honestly didn't come away from it being like I said. I think I need to watch
yeah,
it
you
again.
need to watch it again.
So I didn't come away from it being like, well, that was just dog shit. Like, that was bad. It
No.
was just like, I was like, all right. Had some interesting ideas. Like I said, Assassin's Creed ranked to me in the middle because it just kind of reminded me of being able to take a person and like their
Take the
consciousness
conscious.
and drop them into different time periods.
Yep.
Yep. And where you kind of get these flashbacks. So Dylan O'Brien is Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg is
You know.
Dylan O'Brien.
Yeah, like so, and that was kind of a weird connection at some point in there too.
Because you almost felt like they were, when we first watched the trailer, that they were somehow going to make like Mark Wahlberg appear in all these different visions. Like, we
Mhm.
thought it was the same guy. Turns out it's just reincarnation.
Dude,
People
I
jumping
thought-
from body to body.
I thought when he was fighting in like the like Pilgrims versus the Native Americans or whatever,
You
that I was like, are they gonna go here? Because
Are they gonna put Mark Wahlberg in red face? They better not.
like I thought they were gonna have. I swear to God, for a second, I thought he was in that scene. I was like, this is.
You
just-
thought he was about to go full feathers.
This man didn't give a fuck. Like, and he can't really play with the race game because, like, if anybody looks too close into his history, like,
yeah,
it's-
you got to
it's
be
pretty
careful.
fucking ugly.
You got to be careful. But thankfully, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Right. We
He
now
dodged
understand that
bullet. Yeah.
they are reincarnated into different people, and it almost seemed like somewhere along the line he was reincarnated into a dude who took his best friend's girl. Because did you notice the odd sexual tension between these two the whole time? And they're just come
No,
to
I
find
thought
out that she was with the other guy.
Which other guy?
The guy who, in the Dylan O'Brien age, she dies with him in the car.
Oh, and he doesn't get reincarnated?
Either he gets reincarnated and dies. They never actually show who he is.
Because there was definitely some tension.
There's definitely some tension, but they never actually
didn't
pull the
even pick
trigger
up
on it.
that. I think I thought about it for a second, but this is where, like, I was kind of. The problem is with this movie is I felt like I was just trying so hard to figure out. Like, I didn't understand the purpose of is it Jeffrey Wright? Is that the main bad guy's name?
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
I was trying to figure out what their purpose was. Like
He was tired of it, dude. He's tired of living this life, bro.
and he
He
made me
want,
feel kind of bad because he's like, do you know what it feels like to be reborn and like your brain has to rebuild every single time? I was like, that probably sucks.
it was tough because he was like, and then you have to remember it and then live all this shit over and over and over
Matt,
again.
as a person who like spent most of yesterday trying to rebuild their brain, I can tell you, I couldn't do that all the time, and I'd be just as mad as he is.
Lenny was knocking on heaven's door yesterday.
Yeah, no,
dude. It was a rough time for
It
you.
was a bad day, dude. Don't drink, kids.
Yeah, don't drink and drive,
Well,
or don't drink and work.
I mean, that's all of them.
All of the above.
I didn't drink and work, by the way. Just to
You know what I'm saying.
quell
dude.
that narrative. I don't need that on my record.
Don't
dude.
drink the night before and then go to work. Is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
You're no way, shape, or form an alcoholic. I'm not saying that. I feel like I needed to stop that. But let's jump into what you hated about this movie,
Oh,
Len.
no, who's to say I have to hate things, dude? Why do you just have to put
Because
on?
there was one thing specifically that I hated,
Well,
but I want to get your take before I start shitting. on
nope,
it.
I got nothing. I'm not a hater.
Really? Okay.
No haters in the building. Not I.
Being an Infinite, in no way, shape, or form did they clarify that you had mystical superpowers. Dylan O'Brien does it in the beginning, and then Mark Wahlberg does it when he rides a motorcycle onto the wing of a plane. And he basically looks like he's able to stop time,
Well,
and he's able to just not be affected by the time around him.
yeah, I was trying to figure out what that meant, and I felt like that's where I said I had to watch it again. Is because I thought I must have missed something.
Nope.
That got explained along the way. Are you
Nope.
sure though? Because I feel like there's got to be something to that they set up in the story. Like, is it because they've lived through all of it? They can like slow down time because they've lived so much.
Yeah, but
Like,
this guy didn't even remember anything. You know what I'm like? At some point, yes, he regains his memory, but it's like you're able to just snap right into it. I guess that's my issue with it. Is we didn't see it the entire movie. Even when he does it on the plane, bad guy is like, impossible. Like, he's never seen it before. So it's just weird to me that somebody who has very little or no memory of who he is and what's happened, that he's able to just tap
but
into
it's like
his
a
power.
feel. Yeah, it's just a feel.
You're telling me you can feel it?
This is a sense.
You can feel it in his nuggets?
You're probably right. Not saying you're not. I'm gonna hold off until I watch it again to see if I did in fact just miss something.
Okay. Well,
If it's not there, it's not there.
if it's not there, it's not there. The moment of truth is here, though, Len. It's time to see
Well,
where
we're-
it lands on the taste test.
We are gonna do that. Where the sword? Okay. Why was the sword I get that they were like he was a blacksmith in one of his lives was the reason he would like made the sword. Why is that his like weapon of choice? It's just such a weird like there's these guns that shoot like explosive rounds. They shoot like metal bullets. So I think all bullets might
he
be
didn't give a
metal.
shit,
I don't
dude. He
know.
was able to slap all those things around with that sword. Like, it didn't matter.
Oh, dude, when he gets his shit off in the apartment at the beginning when the drug deal gone wrong.
Dude. And you could kind of just tell, like, he made a sword for a drug dealer. This is going to go bad almost immediately.
Well, and that guy's kind of a dick. Just gonna chop that chick's arm off.
Well, dude, she was looking around.
yeah.
Like, dude, have a little bit of respect. You're
Eyes
looking,
on me.
you're looking like you want to bang this dude. I'm standing right over here with a sword. Can't be doing that. I don't know, man. They really focus a lot on the sword, and you're just supposed to understand that, like, this is his shit. He's what's the famous Musashi? He's the famous samurai of legend. He can make swords. He can kill people with them, and it seems to be a common theme because at the end of this movie, he throws a sword to a kid. Kid immediately snaps back into place and is like, "What took you so long?"
Well, I think the idea there is that he's already been waiting for him prior
Really?
to receiving the sword.
Okay.
Is what it seemed like. And I thought that little setup then, because the immediate thing I thought at the very end was, I was like, well, this is kind of perfect for them because they can do sequels or reboots
Do whatever
of this
they want
whenever
with
they
any
want.
actor.
But I thought it was weird the way they set it up with, like, I thought if you were going to give me an actor at the end, like post-credit style, which this was pre-credits, obviously.
Pretty much,
but
yeah.
like, in that type of way, I thought it would be a more famous actor to get you
Yeah.
excited for another movie. But they clearly maybe didn't plan on making another one, and it's only if this...
Also, you could look at it like maybe they're catching him in a younger phase, and maybe they're able to cast somebody a little bit older.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows? You never know where they're going to go with that.
So, taste test.
Yep.
We want to do that. Hey, but I have a question. Are we allowed to go back and change previous scores?
No.
I think by logic, I kind of have to, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Just because, like, to get into my overall, like, ranking of this movie, like I said, I'm going to watch it again. I didn't hate anything particularly about it. It's definitely kind of dumb, but I like a lot of dumb movies.
Yeah, we've stated that.
But with that being said, I can't give this, cake or a porterhouse.
No.
I think I've got to go very middle of the road on this.
Yeah, this is chips for me.
And say chips. And the reason I say I have to go back and change something is that I think it's unfair of me critically. And I think part of this is just acknowledging I can be wrong.
Which is a very good thing.
And also just saying that with this scoring system, we've got to kind of work out some kinks. And there's still aspects of it that I think aren't great and that we've got to work on.
Okay.
And it's making a little bit more clear-cut distinction between the levels here. And with that being said, I want to bump Cruella up, if I could.
Thank God.
To cake.
Good.
Because it doesn't seem fair
to lump that in with chips.
To give... No, not give it chips. But if I'm going to give Infinite chips, I don't think that Cruella should be in the same... So that's where it's like tough, because it goes back to what we've said along the whole time. I think scoring systems are really hard.
Yeah.
Because 10-point must is sometimes the best way to do it, but it's a little too straightforward and to the point.
Yeah, and you never really end up using most of those numbers.
You got to use decimals, dude. That's what I'm saying. With 10-point must, you got to go 7.9s, like 7.4s. Or you can do up to 100 and do like 74 out of 100, like 74%. Or you can go like 50-50. It's like it's either good or it's bad.
Yeah.
But like I said, I digress. I was just saying, I think it's something we need to go back and kind of look at, because it's probably not fair to rank them the same. But in terms of Infinite, where it lands on the taste test, it's chips for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think I can respect the fact that you were able to go back and put Cruella above chips, because I did think that it was above chips. But I think the foundation that we've set with the scoring system, it does give people at least an understanding of where we lie as far as how we would recommend movies. Because if we just don't want you to watch it, that's just going to be bologna or meatloaf. And
with this having a chips rating, like I definitely think, I mean, if you have Paramount Plus, I'm not telling you to go out there and subscribe to Paramount Plus to get this. If there's something else that you've been thinking about watching on Paramount Plus, if there's some shows that you thought you might want to go back and rewatch from Nickelodeon or MTV or anything like that, this is a good addition to kind of give you some value on your investment.
Also, Paramount Plus owns a few different networks, and they've pretty much got a monopoly on all the Comedy Central content. Mm-hmm. So if you're ever wanting to go back on just about all the classics that come from there, Stand Up Special, South Park, what's the other one? The Daily Show.
The Daily Show.
They've got all that stuff.
For those with good taste.